We have Three Crowns Milk Mom of the Year and the brand manager for Iceland Companies, WAMCO Nigeria PLC, joining us. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Mina George will also be, we have Three Crowns Mom of the Year. She's Kemi Lunge, right?
Yes,
Welcome to the show, Kemi. Good to have you on.
Thank you.
So, tell us about this Three Crowns Mom. What is it about?
So the Three Crowns Mom of the Year was started from Mother's Day. So we actually have a day where we celebrate mothers. Though I know a lot of people say we have like 3 Mother's Day in Nigeria, but that was how we came up. How can we celebrate mothers? Three Crowns is targeted at mothers because mothers are going ahead to take care of their own family, but nobody remembers to take care of the mother. So Three Crowns wants to celebrate mothers in Nigeria most especially. So we actually came up with this initiative, how can we celebrate at least one mother each year to call her Three Crowns Mom of the Year.
Can you take us back how you emerged? What's the process? How did that happen?
So the process was, there was a process for people to nominate people they wanted to be the Mom of the Year, or you nominate yourself. So I think the first person that told me was a friend I had not talked to in a long time. So I think I saw this thing on Instagram, maybe try, and I ignored it and said, no, I don't do things that have to do with luck.
Okay.
And then my sister saw it again and said, no, you have to do this thing. And then my sister did, and I think she started to tell her friends to buy a pack. So there was a pack where you could get recharge cards. There were even free recharge cards for the people who would nominate, and then you would nominate who you wanted to nominate. I think I put in 1 nomination for myself, and I moved on with it. And I think I mentioned to my husband, what do you think about going to Dubai for free? And he's like, come on, no, I know you've been saying you want to go to Dubai this year. It's fine, we'll go. And then I got a call to say, and to ask me if you're okay, this is an interview to know a few things, and then that was it. I got to the next stage and the next stage, and I found myself at the grand finale.
So I know that I watched, so she's my Instagram friend, by the way, you know. And I watched the build-up towards the event that finally picked you, and it was pretty open, like it was, everybody could see how they were shortlisting them. However, there was emphasis on fitness over and over again, like, what is it with Three Crown and fitness and Mom of the Year being a very, very fit person?
No, the Mom of the Year is not just a fit person. She's a smart mom, she's a cool mom, she's a fun mom, she's a fit mom. Okay. So it's like the complete, like a rounded mother. And Three Crowns position is actually on fitness. It's a healthy milk choice, low cholesterol milk. So it's out there to help mothers stay fit in every moment.
Shouldn't she be a mother that drinks 3 crowns as well?
Of course.
Yes, I have a lot of Three Crowns in my house now. As part of the winnings for the Mom of the Year, I get supply of milk every month for the full year. So I'm sorted, and it's not just for my family. Everybody around me has milk. I promise you, we have more than enough. So I actually take 3 crowns milk. Like she said, it's not, the milk is positioned even as a low cholesterol milk, and it is, because I'm a health and fitness enthusiast, and I actually check the content of what I take. And I'm very, very comfortable with taking it because I know that it's fine for me and the contents are great.
You're actually a very beautiful mother.
Yes.
Thank you.
So what was your experience like?
I have 1 daughter. It was fantastic. It was very, very good. In fact, if I wasn't just at Dubai, from getting to my house, from leaving my house to the airport, everything was taken care of.
Tell us, how does your brand plan to sustain this? Would you plan to continue it every year, and how do you plan to sustain this?
Of course, we started this 2 years ago. So this is actually the 3rd season that we had this year, and it's an initiative we've seen that over the years we've had a lot of mothers gain interest in the whole show. So they've actually we've actually decided that we are going to run it every year to celebrate mothers.
So are you going to do Three Crowns Grand Mom of the Year?
So I wanted to ask you, what are the extra benefits from being the Mom of the Year? You know, so we already hear that you have 3 Crown supply every month, but what else do you think Three Crown has done for you?
What would you use this platform to do? Is there any charity give back event that you do?
Okay, so as like I said, fine, I went to Dubai. It was good. It was, I and my family was all expense paid. Another thing is it has also, so I've heard a lot of people say, oh, how did you win? What was it? Did you know anybody there? I said, no, I don't know anybody there. And they keep saying, oh, so even if something this small, like being fit or being fun or being interesting can get you something this good. Right. So sometimes I tell people, if you want to get fit or if you want to do something, do it for yourself first. And then other things will follow. So he has given me so much exposure. Like I said, I'm a health and fitness enthusiast, and it's giving me exposure to even coach people as part of the 3 Crowns Fitness Challenge. So it's giving me that exposure, and people will look up to me and say, oh, I want to do this next year. Okay.
For the manager, are you looking for smaller families, like someone with a daughter? Because someone that has 5 kids, they'll be thinking, do I have a chance? Because can I take all my 5 kids plus my husband to Dubai? They're wondering, she only has 1 daughter, and it's like, is that a requirement?
Well, so we actually put it out there that it's taking a family of 4.
Okay, family of 4.
Yeah, so it's actually, so if the mother wants to go have 3 kids, husband and 2 children, you actually...
Did you go with your grandma or something, or your mom?
I went with my mom, my husband,
Oh, how sweet. That's nice. Cool. So
you don't do 6.
Oh, look into it.
Is there any other initiative any other initiative that this brand stands for? Because we already know, yeah, we're pushing mom is a drink for moms being healthy. But is there any other thing that 3 Crown is into?
So it's not for moms only, but for mom and her family. Okay. So that benefit. And then we actually run the fitness challenge. We've actually had 3 seasons of the fitness challenge.
Wow. Is it annually?
Well, so it's actually a quarterly challenge. So we challenge people for 30 days to actually put up routines every day that they'll need to follow, and then also give them a meal plan. And then now for people like you who have just done like 2 days and they keep dropping out, we now have the Fit in Every Month, which is currently running this November.
They are 5.
So twice a week we actually put out routines that you could.
Nima will qualify, she's 4.
But for those of us that want to do the fitness challenge, that need that help, can we apply, or just at least for the fitness?
Yeah, of course. So it's open to everyone. You just register. It's free. So you go to our website, www.femininelounge.com, and then you enter for the...
Can you spell that?
FEMININE.
Oh, feminine. Oh.
Yeah, femininelounge.com. So you actually register, and then would email your notifications telling you that the routines have gone up on all our social media pages on Instagram and on Facebook.
Today,
oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So excited. So hopefully you're going to be handing over to the next.
What next?
Mom of the Year next year, right?
What next? What will happen when you're done with being Mom of the Year?
Okay, so when I'm done with being Mom of the Year, like I said, I've always said to people, I will not stop being a health and fitness enthusiast because moms always forget to take care of themselves. We always use our kids and our families as the excuse not to take care of ourselves, but we should remember that when we're stronger is when we can take care of our families. So I will not stop living the lifestyle to be healthy, and you don't have to jump as high as I jump or as high as the person on Instagram. Just be a bit more active than you are right now and make better meal choices, and you'll be healthy.
Well said. Oh, you deserve to be Mom of the Year. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, in commemoration of the Universal Children's Day, which was yesterday, we'll discuss curbing child abuse in our society. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So child abuse is increasing at an alarming rate in our society. Reports has it that 6 out of 10 children under the age of 18 experience some form of physical, emotional, and sexual violence before the age of 18. Child abuse has taken several forms, such as physical, sexual, psychological, and neglect. Joining us on the show is the project coordinator, Yaniwura Children Care Foundation, Matilda Otitoloju. Welcome to the show. Otitoloju. Welcome to the show, madam. So, child abuse in our society. a lot of people, let's start from the basics, because a lot of people do not understand what is abuse. There's always a thin line between disciplining a child and abusing a child, or even
the different types of abuse.
The different types of abuse. People always assume it's always physical abuse. So help us define what exactly is child abuse so we can understand it better.
Okay. First of all, I want to congratulate our children. Happy celebration. The day was to recommit ourselves to protect the rights of children. What is child abuse? We first of all talk about who is a child. A child is anyone that is below 18 years of age. And the rights of this child are to be protected. What is child abuse? Child abuse, everybody will have heard about child abuse. Child abuse is an act done by anybody that is not in the interest to a child, that is not in the interest of a child, either to harm or to hurt a child. And there are different types of abuse, but a lot of people think of sexual abuse as the only form of abuse you can mete out to a child. But I need to tell you today, there are various things that we do to our children to abuse them. Let's talk about physical abuse, neglect, emotional torture, psychological torture, sexual abuse. Even now we have what we now see online as a cyberbug, where children are being molested online. A lot of parents don't look through that. I'm going to talk more on physical and neglect, because these form the basis of child abuse. When you neglect your child, when you don't care for your child, when you have left your child to the society to take care of your child for you, it leads to a lot of things for the child. That's where the sexual abuse comes in. That's where the emotional torture comes in. And it's so sad, honestly, that Nigerians or Nigerian parents, we don't respect the right of our children. A lot of parents do not differentiate between physical abuse and correctional method of treating a child. We all take, in African setting, we're so used to beating, caning.
In the name of correction.
In the name of correction. But these days, it does not confirm with the realities of the modern days now.
Yeah, but there's stuff like, oh, spare the rod, spoil the child. You know, our parents, you hear people say that when I was growing up, my father caned me, my parents caned me, and I turned out well. So you cannot tell me, especially with all the vices out there, there's some traits a child has that parents feel that, listen, I need to hold you with high iron hand. If not, I'll lose you. There are situations like that.
Yes,
but it's always that thin line.
Yes, you start training a child right from 2 years. There's a certain gene that forms in a child as from 2 or 3 years when the child starts growing. And that way you know who that child is. Because the child now starts to interact with the environment. The child now starts to interact, emulate what the mother is doing. If the mother is the nagging type, if the mother is fond of shout, the child is now used to, unless you shout before I can listen to you. So in that kind of situation, things are changing now. We now live in globalization, where one thing that happened online, everybody hears it all over the world. So we need to talk to our children. They listen. If you start at a very young age by teaching them the norms, by talking to them, these are the things you should do, these are what you shouldn't do, the children tend to grow with that knowledge. Not that you leave the child, okay, she's still a child, she will learn later. She will learn later. She will learn later.
I need you to correct me on this. I think that when parents overindulge children on what they want, it's a form of abuse. Over the weekend, I saw a child being given a bottle of alcohol, and I was shocked. And I posted it on Instagram. The child is the same age as my son. And I was shocked. And when I screamed out of shock, the mother was shocked that I was shocked. She was like, the father buys it for him every weekend when he's crying. And I felt, this is a form of abuse.
Does he drink it?
You as the mother, she wasn't shocked. He drank it. He was running after the bottle. He loved it. And he was obviously, you know, used to it because he was running after the person feeding him with it. And I was like, you should be, you know, I was irritated that she wasn't shocked. And I sent the post on Instagram to the group of the ladies. And I saw another post of a child, you know, actually smoking. That should be
that one was on Instagram.
That child should be close to 4 years. It happened on Sunday evening in my neighborhood, and I was, you know, caught unawares. And you know that is a form of abuse. But people would think since he wasn't crying, he wasn't, you know, he loved it. Was that abuse?
Yes, it's an abuse. This is where the parent value comes in. We need to start teaching our children because they emulate what we do. A child of 4 years, if a father or a mother is smoking in front of that child, the child does not see it as a vice. That should not be emulated. The child will see it, oh, it's the normal thing we do in the house. And for the mother that gave his child, the baby, alcohol, I think that is not a good way of teaching a child the norms of the society. Giving alcohol itself is not meant for children, and that is child abuse, exactly. Because it's going to hurt the child, and it's also going to harm that child. And when that kind of child grows up, he's not going to see alcohol has been banned as a bad thing to do when it's in excess.
Well, even then, I think it has a negative effect on the brain of the child.
Of the child, yes.
Because the brain has not fully developed, and you are giving it alcohol, definitely it's not going to grow to its, the brain will not grow to its full
potential. Let's come into the abuse in schools. Let's come to abuse in schools because we always assume that when our children go to school, they'll be properly trained, they'll be safe, and they'll be properly, because they are with trained professionals. But in some schools today, abuse is ongoing. Either we're hearing of teachers molesting girls, or how, as a parent,
can you be aware?
Can you be aware of these things? How, as the parent, what can you do to pay critical attention to how your children are being treated in school? How?
First, you need to be very close to your children. Be your child's best friend, and that way you ask questions. Each time your child comes back from school, what did you do in school today? What happened in school today? And that way, the child will have confidence in you to be able to voice out. But when you're not close to your child, there's no way you can know. Because this abuse goes on for a long time before we parents even know, if you are not friendly with your child.
What would you grade as abuse? Because we're going on a break. When we come back, we'll continue.
Yes, so let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and take some tweets and calls. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about child abuse. Toko, you had a question.
So, well, I'm still talking about abuse in schools. What are the signs we look out for? Especially, we have interactive sessions. I used to talk to my kids, and one came home and said, oh, my friends don't like me in class. Everybody was saying thumbs down to me and all that. And as much as we're talking about parents to, teacher to students abuse, what about students to student abuse, the bullying and all that? How do we sense this? How do we mitigate it?
How we do that? In school, there should be a guardian and counselor person who is trained on child abuse, who is also trained to watch out for the signs. Sometimes the teachers are part of the perpetrators of this child abuse. I'll give you an example. A child that is being shut down in the class, maybe he wants to ask a question, and and the teacher says, no, keep quiet, I don't want to listen to you. No. Or having a favorite person in the class. It's another way of making a child to feel demoralized within herself is a psychological torture for that child. And that child will not be able to bring out the best in her, because each time she wants to do something, it will always be at the back of the mind. Maybe my teacher is going to abuse me today. Maybe my teacher is going to shut me up in front of other children. And another thing I want to talk about is the difference between corporal punishment and corrections in schools. It's such a pity that school is supposed to be a place of learning, where teachers are supposed to teach the children etiquette. They're supposed to teach them morale, love, interpersonal relation skills. But you found out that these teachers are not even doing this. They're supposed to be the role models for these children, but we're not seeing it in them. Mm-hmm. The teachers themselves also promote violence in the school, whereby you have a prefect, let's say a class monitor. A class monitor can hit any child at any time. Stop talking, stop making noise, stop doing this. And that way, the child is not corrected that you are not to hit anybody. You are supposed to report to the teacher anything that you need to.
But I wanted to go in, can teachers spank?
Because
is spanking right, or do we do naughty corner, or do we do, because I tell my kids face the wall all the time. I mean, yes, YK?
Because me, when I was in school, they beat me. They beat in my body. And when you see your teacher, you give full respect. Yes, sir. So, good morning, ma. Because I come from a different generation, when I hear, don't beat the child, I'm like,
And I've seen where it didn't work out
because they gave me well.
And I've seen where it didn't work out well, where you have students talking back, and I know a school, private school, where the students talk back at the teacher. They know the teacher can't do anything, because if you try anything, the parents are going to come and make noise. So
how do you strike that balance?
Yes.
In that situation, there should be, as part of the school co-curriculum, whereby you teach the children as part of okay, let me put it this way. First, with their peer group, you teach them peer pressure issues. Yes. You teach them as part of either your social studies, part of your health education. You teach them as a subject. And also, you also teach them on ways, the signs of child abuse. You also teach them on ways to respect your teachers, because when we're talking about child abuse, sometimes I will not say it's vice versa. The teachers will have to bring the children closer to them.
So also the parents should...
and the parents should also talk to their children, because teaching children is not only left to teachers alone. It's a cooperative work.
So on a final note, like what was the last...
We run out of time. Sorry about that. But honestly, thank you for coming. I just hope this show has helped parents out there to understand that child abuse is real, especially in schools. And try to participate in how your children are being disciplined in schools, so you have a better understanding of how the things work. Thank you so much, Mara, for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
That's all we can take on the show today. Don't forget, if you're eloquent, attractive, confident, opinionated, please upload a 1-minute video on Instagram, #YourViewAuditions, because we're looking for a co-host. So, and as I said earlier, we're looking for diversity. So we really, really appreciate you.
Igbo, Hausa, Kanuri.
Anybody but at least people.
My partner
doesn't mean that you can. It doesn't mean that if you're Yoruba you can. It's important to have a database of everybody, so we don't have to go through this process again. So please upload as many videos as you can. Let us see, so that by December 31st we shortlist 30 and then begin the audition interviews. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.